The wise cherish knowledge, and the even smarter take their hats off when it's windy. But if you want to leave your hat on, you may. Would you all please stand? And I invite Dr. Jonathan Dean, Assistant Professor of Religion, to deliver our invocation.
Would you join me in a prayer? Let us praise God and let us be thankful on this day of joy for the beauty of this place and the reborn world around us, for all that we have learned and all that our learning has inspired in us, for the community of knowledge, compassion and dedication we have known here, and for the gift of lifelong friendships, for this new beginning, and for all the possibility and potential which has been unlocked and revealed in us. Generous God, the traditions of this place in which we have studied and grown are deep and noble and true, and we are grateful for them. As we celebrate today, let us not forget compassion for others. As we look to our future, let us not be unmindful of those who suffer today. As we rejoice in hope, let us not neglect to serve our neighbors in humility, with tenderness and love for all. We thank you for this day, for these people, and for this place which has blessed us. Teach us now the greatest offering of thanks, a life given back to the world. In your name, amen.
Please be seated. We gather this afternoon almost 100 years after the last commencement ceremony was held on this historic campus. We gather as family and friends, as colleagues, as faculty, staff, and trustees to celebrate the achievements of the George Williams College class of 2011. We applaud their tenacity, and we toast their willingness to balance family and work responsibilities with study. They are our daughters and our sons, our fathers and mothers, our friends, our significant others, our soulmates, and we are very proud of them. On behalf of George Williams College of Aurora University, it is my honor to welcome you to this historic occasion, the return of the commencement tradition to George Williams College. As an independent institution of higher learning, Aurora University is governed by a board of trustees. We rely upon the wisdom, the generosity, and the dedication of our trustees to perpetuate our purpose over time. Trustees shape our values, safeguard our mission, and breathe life into our vision for the future. Dr. Cal Myers is a 1964 graduate of Aurora College, and he serves currently as the chair of the Board of Trustees. After a distinguished undergraduate career as a student and an athlete at Aurora College, Cal earned advanced degrees from the University of Chicago and Northern Illinois University. Then he returned to the Aurora College campus, this time to teach. He served for a number of years in the Department of Economics and Business, and then left the campus for a career in banking. Now Cal has come full circle, and he will bring greetings in behalf of the board.
Thank you, Dr. Sherrick. I am absolutely convinced, always have been, but nothing has changed my mind, that there are few events on a college campus that are as exciting as commencement. And in this setting, particularly, albeit a bit breezy, makes it even better. And as an AU student and professor, I knew firsthand the joy of completing yet another academic year and celebrating the achievements of you, our graduates. So on behalf of the university's Board of Trustees, I am pleased to bring greetings and congratulations. Today we pay tribute to your academic achievement, your hard work, your discipline, and most of all, your perseverance. Many of you completed undergraduate and graduate programs while working full-time. You balance family, professional, and personal responsibilities with university commitments in ways that truly inspire all of us. As a trustee and an alum, I know that your AU education will serve you exceedingly well in the years ahead. We wish you nothing but the best of luck and abundant success in pursuit of your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, President Sherrick, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, fellow graduates, family, and friends. Welcome, and thank you for joining us in our commencement ceremony. Since I have been a student in the Masters of Arts in Teacher Leadership in Earth and Space Science program, the Earth has made 3 orbits around the sun. We have gone through numerous life changes. In that time, babies have been born, there have been engagements and marriages. There were also some challenging events that helped us to become supportive and cohesive groups. But even though there were scary-looking clouds along the way, we persevered. Here we are today, for those of us who have been counting, 1,095 days later. But as you all know, data is data, and we will just leave it at that. Something that we learned in one of our classes was that each personality can be associated with a color, whether it is tan, blue, green, or red. And despite our differences, we have learned to work together, encourage each other, and have raised the bar for each of us. We are now able to see things through each other's eyes. Small note to self: don't ever put 3 students with tan personalities in the same room together. As graduates of George Williams College at Aurora University, we have all had unique experiences in our programs. At this point, I would like to share some of them with you. With my peers in the MATL program, our adventures, probably like recreation administration students, included living through some challenging field trips in torrential downpours, poison ivy, and ticks, to our more enjoyable weather-cooperating field trips of our lake excursion, the heart-conditioning Devil Lakes hike, along with our Doppler radar weather station tour. And we can't forget our summer retreat of Yerkes Observatory. Among the academic programs graduating today, my program, the MATL, is graduating its first class. A great man once said that this is an experimental group and we will get through it together. Unlike most Masters of Arts and Teacher Leadership programs, ours had an emphasis in Earth and Space Science and was funded by a grant from the United States Department of Education as part of the Illinois Mathematics and Science Partnership Grants. Most of us had the opportunity to be part of this notable experience because of our qualifications based on the specific needs of our districts. Through our program of Earth and Space Science, many doors have been opened to us. These include opportunities to work with true scientists, a chance to earn a flight on NASA mission Sophia, and we were able to see the Hawk telescope being made that will eventually fly on a NASA mission. As students at GWC, we have all walked the same halls as Albert Einstein, Edwin Hubble at Yerkes Observatory, and Robert Wiedensaul and James Naismith at GWC. And in the end, we brought our experiences back to the students who walked the halls of our school. We have taken courses from the center of the earth to the far edges of space. We have also become leaders along the way. We explored a new way of thinking about our thinking, also known as metacognition. It is a way to open the minds of all the different groups of people that we will work with, as well as ourselves. It was a method that blindsided us. Here at George Williams College, we have discovered a network of friends and colleagues to whom we can turn whenever we need support or knowledge. Our network has grown to include dedicated professors, renowned scientists, and other professionals who we now consider as mentors and friends. Thank you to the entire faculty for a learning adventure we could never have anticipated in our different programs of study. To Dr. Kenneth Gardner, we owe immeasurable gratitude and want to personally thank you for being our rock, devoting all your time, energy, and vision into this program and us. We have grown personally and professionally in these past 3 years. In conclusion, we couldn't have done this without the love and support of our families, friends, and colleagues. And to them, we would like to say thank you. P.S. We have some very scientific tips that we have learned along the way. 1. Listerine makes the best mosquito repellent. 2. When leaving the Water Safety Patrol building at night, remember your flashlight. 3. Turn off your flash when taking pictures of the stars. 4. Potluck snacks are great for getting through class. And 5. The best lifelong learning technique is to always ask questions. PPS. By the way, Ken, in one more orbit of the sun, we will be at your house for a class reunion.
Thank you, Annelle. For a moment there, you calmed the wind. Did you teach her that, Ken? No. Today we honor Melinda Blakesley, someone who all of you know in special ways. Dr. Tony Olynyk began his career on the George Williams College campus in Downers Grove and moved then to Aurora University. Throughout his career, Tony was a tireless advocate for students and a living embodiment of our core values of integrity, citizenship, continuous learning, and excellence. For Tony, no student issue was too small or too large to warrant his attention. The university's Leadership Service Award, established in 2003, was rechristened in memory of Tony a year later. This spring, we honor a member of the university community who exemplifies all of the virtues embodied by Dr. Olynyk. Like Tony, Melinda has spent a professional lifetime at George Williams College. As a stalwart in our food service program, she has been a source of continuity, professionalism, and friendship for generations of students and guests at GWC. For more than 40 years, Melinda has worked on this campus, sometimes as a manager, but often as the person at the front of the house. Stop by the Beasley Center for an early morning cup of coffee, and her smiling face will be the first that you see. Think of a complicated situation or an urgent last-minute request, and she'll be happy to help you. No challenge is too big for her tact and her cheerfulness. She is an optimist, and she is a servant leader. Someone who gives far more than she ever expects in return. You might even say that for Melinda, working at GWC runs in the family. Her mother was a longtime campus business manager, and her sister and her husband have also worked here. Melinda is an exemplary professional, a kind and caring colleague, and the embodiment of the George Williams College spirit. And she is our 2011 recipient of the Tony Olynyk Leadership Service Award. She's also been known to give my dog a piece of bacon. George Williams College conferred its first honorary doctorate on one of the three men who founded this campus, Robert Wiedensaul. Later, George Williams conferred an honorary doctorate on I.E. Brown, the second of the trio. And I believe GWC would have done the same for Lewis for whom this site was once named, had his death not occurred prematurely. Well, today we honor the man who has perpetuated that legacy. We recognize the achievements of William B. Duncan, Senior Vice President of Aurora University. So I invite Tom Stooley, member of the AU Board of Trustees, and Provost Andrew Mannion, to escort William Bruce Duncan to the podium for the conferral of the degree, Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you, Dr. Sherry. Ask Bill Duncan to tell you about the mission of George Williams College, and he will say, our purpose is to serve those who have served others. Bill should know, for this is exactly what he's been doing for 41 years since he came to this campus as Director of Summer Programs and Outdoor Education. The year was 1970, and Bill was fresh from a 2-year stint as a chaplain's assistant and earned a Distinguished Service Medal. His assignment as a new staff member was to establish an outdoor education program that he had envisioned with 2 other graduates 2 years earlier. Today we honor Dr. William Bruce Duncan, outstanding teacher, inspiring leader, respected colleague, great family man, tireless volunteer, and a dedicated man of educating bodies, mind, and soul. At Bill's side in 1970 was his wife, Laverne. Both were graduates from George Williams College. After earning his degree in undergraduate at the University of California at Davis, Bill enrolled at George Williams College at the recommendation of a mentor. Like so many of his counterparts, he anticipated a career in the YMCA. For Bill, the association began at the age of 8 when he attended a Y camp. And he attended that Y camp for many, many years, finally taking a job in the kitchen and became a post director at the end of his term. While the advanced degree program of camping and education drew Bill here, it was Laverne. She was enrolled as an undergraduate student in social work and recreation. And there they met. Well, the first time they got wedded was at the Sadie Hawkins dance, and a man named Marion Sam did the honors. Bill and Laverne were married 1.5 years later and raised a family of 4 children. The children have followed the footsteps of service and community work. Andrew Duncan today is a member of the National Hospice Care Association in Alexandria, Virginia. The Honorable Rebecca Duncan is an appellate court judge at the state of Oregon. Her husband, Kurt, and 2 daughters, Sophia and Elena. Dr. Christine Duncan is a Boston pediatric oncologist specializing in bone marrow and transplants and related research. She's on the staff of Children's Memorial Hospital and Harvard University's Dana-Farber Cancer Research Center. Elizabeth Duncan is a University of Madison graduate with a degree in graphic arts and currently works in the insurance industry. She is the mother of Ayanna, Bill and Laverne's 3rd granddaughter. The Duncan children literally grew up at George Williams campus. When the campus dining hall closed, the family meals with the graduates were held at the Duncan Diner. Animals from the facility's demonstration farm were nursed back to health in their home, and their first paychecks were from this conference center. And meanwhile, their father built the outdoor and adventure education programs that eventually served 10,000 elementary and middle school and teachers annually. During the summer, Bill served as the facilities program director. He did everything from saying the daily prayer and sharing announcements to gathering with the camp participants for a common meal. He found time to complete his doctorate in adult education at Northern Illinois University. In 1986, Dr. Bill Duncan became dean of George Williams Educational Centers and guided George Williams facility through its transition from a camp to an educational conference center. He played a key role in the 1992 affiliation between GWC Education Centers, and Aurora University, and the subsequent merger 8 years later. Over the past 10 years, Bill has dedicated himself to restoring the educational vision of the facility's 19th century founders that established new academic programs and the restoration of the GW traditions, music by the lake. How appropriate that we celebrate Dr. Bill Duncan in this pavilion on this occasion for the first commencement ceremony held at George Williams College in nearly 100 years. Like all true servant leaders, Bill Duncan has performed tasks large and small, seen and unseen. He has counseled new employees, corrected campers, supervised the waterfront, patched fiberglass sailboats, recruited trustees and students, mediated disputes, operated the farm, and oversaw our academic programs. In 1975, Bill was named the Outstanding Graduate Professor at George Williams College. 20 years later, he was recognized as an outstanding alum for the college. The International Association of Conference Center Administrators awarded him the prestigious Washburn Award for his sustained and dignified service. In 2005, he was inducted into the Rho Phi Lambda National Honor Society. And in 2010, Bill and Laverne were honored as recipients of the Aurora Lakeland Medical Center Margaret Schlemmer's Humanitarian Award. For all of their professional accomplishments and family responsibilities, Bill and Laverne have been tireless volunteers in organizations ranging from the YMCA of the USA, the Williams Bay Recycling Center, the Lakeland Medical Center Foundation, the Lakeland Cooperative Preschool, the Kishwaukee Nature Conservancy Commission, Aurora Healthcare, Holiday Home Camp, the Girl Scouts, Geneva Lake Association, the Village of Williams Bay, and St. Andrew's Catholic Church. Name a local cause or a national issue, and the Duncans have played a positive and productive role as citizen leaders. And so, in recognition of his distinguished professional and volunteer services, his pending retirement from the position of Senior Vice President, Aurora University, and a lifetime of embodying the true George Williams College spirit, I present to you Dr. William Bruce Duncan for the conferral of the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, on this 30th day of April 2011.
William Bruce Duncan, by the authority vested in me as the 13th president of Aurora University, I do hereby confer upon you the degree. Doctor of Humane Letters. And I ascribe to you all of the rights. I'm not going to get through this. And the responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations, Bill.
I'll leave that with you. Yeah, good. Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know if you've ever spoken in front of a group and thought your speech might not be with you. Well, it's here, but I've never thought about my speech blowing away mid-speech. So thank you, Tom and President Sherrick and Provost Mannion and the AU Board for bestowing this wonderful honor on me. I accept it humbly, but share it with my wife of 43 years, Laverne, who is a major part of the many things described in the very long citation. Sorry about that. On hearing the honorary degree was to be given to me, I was both humbled and honored, but then quickly remembered there's a string attached, this speech. What could I say to a group of excited, graduates, their families, and friends who were anxious to get to the presentation of the degrees, apart from saying thank you and sitting immediately down. I thought about that, but I think they take this back if I do that. So, however, it's clear to me that I'm just an adjunct part of this ceremony. The real ceremony is about you, and you are the main story here today. The search for something to say beyond thank you weighed on my mind for several months. Being a computer nerd, I went right to the website and Googled graduation speeches. And there were many resources, many quotes by famous and illustrious folks, as well as the recent speeches by people whose names you'd recognize. I gathered some quotes and themes, but they somehow did not seem right. I learned to let things percolate for a while. My wife Laverne says I procrastinate, but it works for me. But I got back to it. And then one day when reading the newspaper 2 weeks ago, a headline caught my eye. The oldest man dies at 114 years of age. There were two pieces of good news in that for me. For one, based on that lifespan, I'm still a middle-aged man. So I like that a lot. And second, he was a man. And if you've ever visited a retirement village, there's very few of us wandering around. Just a few old guys smiling a lot as they walk the halls. At this point, I looked for the obligatory list of things of how to live a long life. I wasn't thinking of this speech at all. I just wanted the confirmation that I was doing something right. There were 25 quotes, 20 quotes, not 25, don't worry, 5 quotes that Walter Bruning made in an interview shortly before his death. The first was the usual sort of thing. Eat 2 meals a day. That's all you need, according to Walter. Makes some sense based on recent nutrition research. The second quote grabbed my attention, though, and I thought immediately the speech. Walter said, "Embrace change, even when it slaps you in the face." Every change is good. Wow. I really didn't expect that from a 114-year-old man living in Great Falls, Montana. However, in the article, he mentioned hearing his grandfather tell him stories about the horrors of the Great War. He wasn't talking about World War I. He was talking about the Civil War. Can you imagine changes that Walter saw in his 114-year lifetime? He was an expert on change. However, it is a bit counterintuitive to say that all change is good. Some change feels hurtful and others seem unfair. What I think Walter meant, and I found true in my own experience, is to embrace change as an opportunity for growth, to become stronger, a more skilled and more effective person, one change at a time. The third quote also resonates strongly with me. Help others. Do more for others, and the better shape you'll be in. I know. I like this advice since it comes not from the sages of the ages, but from a man who was at once both common and exceptional. You could be there too if you lived to be 114 years old. I found from service opportunities that have come to me my way, I grew and was enriched significantly from the time I spent with each. I encourage you to seize the opportunities that come your way for service. You'll grow from each of those. The fourth quote was, work as long as you can. The money's going to come in handy. That's true on the surface. Simple advice, but also profound. It is vital that you stay engaged through your life. One of AU's core values, which is behind me, is continuous learning. It is a value I embrace. I might reword it. Make yourself stupid as often as you can. Put yourself in situations that you know little about, but are interesting or challenging. I'm retiring from the university in a few weeks. While I don't have to work, I believe Walter is right on. Besides running and being elected for local office for the village of Williams Bay, I'm starting a mediation consulting business with my wife Laverne, and I went back and took mediation certification classes, formed an LLC, which you can do online on a Sunday afternoon, and I even got a federal tax ID number. All things that I'd never done before, and found the process invigorating. The final piece of advice perhaps was the hardest, as the interview noted. Accept death. A bit of a downer on a day like today, but I think what Walter was saying, understand that death is just another stage of life's journey. Regardless of your religious beliefs, if you accept death as another rite of passage like marriage or this graduation ceremony, you'll more likely not fear it to be consumed, but recognize it as a natural part of the life's journey. You will be able to focus upon the present. I think Walter was saying to us, be in the moment. Live your life fully, and the end will take care of itself. My final advice to you is to have fun. This all passes way too quickly. I recall vividly sitting just over on the circle looking at the lake 41 years ago, just after I accepted the job, and was very excited about that. I stand here again looking at the lake 41 years ago from that date, and it seems like it was yesterday. So from two old guys, Walter and me, congratulations to the class of 2011, and thank you.
Graduates, that's you. You have traveled different roads to a common destination. In a few minutes, we will confer your degrees, read your names, and present your diplomas. And you will bravely make your way into the face of the gale across the stage here, hoping not to be blown back up the hill. In these moments, we will mark the conclusion of one chapter in your lives and the beginning of another. First, however, I invite you to stand and to join me in a... I invite you to stand. Thank you. Thank you for accepting my invitation. And to join me in an applause to thank the faculty, staff, family, and friends who nurtured your passion for learning. Thank you. President Sherrick, I present to you the George Williams College candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Master of Business Administration, Master of Science and Recreation Administration, Master of Social Work, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Arts in Curriculum and Instruction, Master of Arts in Educational Leadership, Master of Arts in Reading Instruction, Master of Arts in Special Education, Master of Arts in Teacher Leadership, and Doctorate of Education. But not all at once. No one person has done all those things. They've all done all those different things. Each has met all academic requirements or will do so later this summer. All have been approved by the faculty and the Board of Trustees and thus are now eligible to receive their degrees.
As president of Aurora University, I now confer upon you the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Recreation Administration, Master of Social Work, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Arts in Curriculum and Instruction, Master of Arts in Educational Leadership, Master of Arts in Reading Instruction, Master of Arts in Special Education, Master of Arts in Teacher Leadership, and Doctor of Education, in accordance with the requirements that you have completed. And I ascribe to you all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Graduates who are still wearing your caps and for whom the wind has not blown the tassel over already, you may now switch your tassel from the left side to the right side, signifying your degree. As the marshal directs the first 2 rows to walk up the ramp to the stage, please come forward as your name is read to receive your diploma from the president, while the others remain seated. Jenilyn Flaherty Deal. Janet Lynn Geigler. Kim Klopstein-Kieser. Carol Elizabeth Smith. Master of Business Administration, Laura Teresa Kuko. Christopher E. A. Anderson. Brian Joseph Patrick Arnold. Elaine Michelle Buckley. Rudolph Patrick Dambeck. Megan M. Girk. Anna Elizabeth Collins. Susan Elizabeth Mayer. Jason Pressure. Samantha Melinda Becker. Tori Lynn Benson. Daphne M. Brown. Amy Jo Chesker. Amy Marie Copeland. Cassandra Rose Dawson. Callie A. Dettinger. Jacqueline M. Dillon. Jacob Thomas Dunn. David Malcolm Fisher. Robin Lee Gardner. Emily Christine Housen. Yvonne Lee Jaquit. Erica Diane Levin. Sylvia Alberta Marquis Hurst. Anna Marie Montemayor. Rhonda Denise Moore. Angela Jean Railing. Lisa Marie Reyes. Diane Robinson. Stephanie S. Sanders. Renetta L. Shores Gaston. Brenda L. Stallman. Sunny Charday Sturba. Paul B. Sutek. Tamra A. Tope. Andrea Marie Weber. Andrea Elizabeth Wilkening. Nancy Woody. Lindsay Ray Goldsworthy. Alicia Louise Grayway. William Stephen Letourneau. Leah Rose Nicolai. Valerie Ann Palika. Jennifer Lynn Roosh. Luann Schoenberg. John David Sims III. Jeanette Talavera. Michael Brandon Wargaski. Sage Marie Zimmerman. Marcos Gomez. Kimberly M. Massarelli. Shannon Marie Del Rey. Michael Edward Leskowich. Christine Marie Lewick. Candace Adame. Angela Jane Brom. Melissa Jane Christian. Nicole Kathleen Kennard. Kathleen Ann Ferguson. Stephanie R. Goodman. Kerry J. Jonas. Rachel Christine Rolfs. Candace Ann Learman. Lisa Pop. Renelle Ann Blue. David Wing Kern Chu. Carissa Renee Dooley. April Ann Durbin. Donald S. Foster. Holly Margaret Friday. Kenneth Wayne Haylock. Gina Marie Hangay. Ashley Marie Hendricks. Delight Elizabeth Hockman. Erin Michelle Krukenberg. Kelly Widener Lasota. Rebecca Jo Leskowicz. David John Lynch. Stephanie Diane Lind. Ryan Andrew Nestler. James A. Peterson. Samantha R. Radisky. Serena Vanessa Robier. Rebecca Robistow. Richard Wicks. In recognition of our doctoral graduates' achievements, the university presents them with a diploma and a hood whose colors signify their field of study and the institution granting their degree. Would all graduates earning the Doctorate of Education come forward to receive your diplomas as your names and dissertation titles are read? And the dissertation titles. Hold on. All right. Stacy Ann Grove Marquis, Doctor of Education in Curriculum and Instruction. Teacher implementation practices resulting from professional development experiences. Terrence, hand your face the Terrence Michael Moots, Doctor of Education in Educational Administration, State Resource Allocation and High School Performance through Adjusted Measures of Illinois Students. Sharon Dawn Prather Olds, Doctor of Education in Educational Administration, a qualitative study of the strategic use of humor by women in district leadership and the superintendency. Justin Stewart Smith, Doctor of Education in Educational Administration, a quantitative comparison of mathematical achievement by students enrolled in an extended double-dose algebra course versus a 2-year algebra course.
Graduates, would you please rise? George Williams was the youngest of 8 sons of Amos and Elizabeth Williams of Ashway Farm, Dulverton, in the county of Somerset. Like many other young men during the British Industrial Revolution, he left his family farm to find work in London. Years later, he looked back on his early years and described himself this way: as a careless, thoughtless, godless, swearing young fellow. I was on a downward road, he recalled. For George Williams, salvation came in the message of Jesus Christ. From that moment on, he dedicated his life to serving others and to building an organization known as the Young Men's Christian Association, the YMCA. As graduates of a college that bears his name, you are heirs of George Williams. The work that George Williams began is now ours and yours to continue. And so on this day, on this windy April afternoon, when we once again celebrate a commencement on these historic grounds, I urge you to take up the work of George Williams. Live first for God. Love and serve others. And may you know joy, happiness, and peace today, tomorrow, and forevermore. This is your legacy, and this is our charge to you. And now, as we resume the tradition of celebrating commencement, we're going to learn the Alma Mater. So will all of the rest of you please stand as Christine Flash, Executive Director of Music by the Lake, joins us in the Alma Mater, and then remain standing for our benediction. Okay, Christine, one more time now that we know it. Come on, folks. It's been 100 years.
This is a blessing, of course, for everyone, but especially for our graduates. Congratulations. Go forth with new purpose and passion, treasuring all you have learned and all you have been given. Go forth in wisdom to serve God's world with integrity and kindness. Go forth to seek new direction, to enrich the world's life and to bring hope to others. Go forth to embody the vision of this place, of mind and heart joined together in the cause of righteousness. Go forth to be a blessing, and may you be richly blessed along whatever pathways the future leads you. Amen.
Now is when it gets complicated. The audience may be seated while the rest of you remain standing. And I invite the audience to remain seated during the recessional. Then please join us on the Allen Plaza for conversation and refreshments. And now I declare this 2011 George Williams College Commencement Ceremony complete.